Hey y'all, I gotta promote it. Hold on. Of course, I didn't mean to play music. I'm trying to promote this live stream real quick. How's everybody doing? I'm on my YouTube channel and I see that there's a new For You section. Do y'all see this on your YouTube profile when you're scrolling on somebody's page? It's so interesting how I believe TikTok has really not encouraged people, but like influenced how things are being done. Because at least to my understanding, the For You for the first time was introduced with TikTok. So it's just really interesting seeing it being introduced on YouTube, and hopefully it's done in a way that's different. You know what I mean? It doesn't just become like a bunch of random unnecessary stuff. It's also going it's I think it's also going to test the science behind like how people engage, and if they think people are engaging in a specific content, you're going to see similar content just like you would on TikTok. I definitely feel like YouTube is evolving. You know me, I'm trying to do it on my phone. I don't see it yet. Oh, thanks for letting me know. Hey, Rachel. How are y'all doing today? I'm just trying to promote it. Finna put it on my Facebook real quick. How are y'all doing? I'll be honest, this has not been my best week. I started off on such a positive note Sunday, and I just feel like stuff went downhill from there. Come and talk to me. So that's why I said I need some encouragement. This week has been so long. It has been so long, and it's not even like Thursday. It's Wednesday, and I feel like it's been so long. Not to mention, like, I just haven't been having the best week. Like, I'll just say one of the things that didn't go right today was we were supposed to have someone come and look at our appliances, and I filed like a little claim through my home warranty, and they basically stood me up, and they had me at a window that was from 2 to 6, which is not the most convenient time. And then like 5 o'clock rolls around, and I text the business like, "Hey, are y'all still coming?" I don't get a response, and then at 6 o'clock, I sent another message like, "Hey." And mind you, like when you go through your home warranty, you get charged up front. You know what I'm saying? So on my portal, it's showing that they were supposed to come between 1 and 5. The lady I spoke to when I set the appointment said that they were going to come between 2 and 6, and they didn't come at all. So I'm just like, that was frustrating. And it wasn't even like That was just one thing that didn't go right today. So I'm just feeling kind of overwhelmed and hopeful that things start turning around. But I'm not going to speak too much on everything else. I'm just going to say, like, it's just been one, I really feel like it's just been one thing after another for a couple of weeks now, back to back. And I'm getting to a point where I just need a break from things not going right. I'm so sad to hear that you're not having the best week. I haven't been having a good one either. I'm sorry to hear that, Rachel. What's going on with you? But it's going to be a temporary. We just have to focus on the positive. Yes, that's what I'm trying to do. I've been trying to pray and, just like I keep trying to take this advice that someone gave me, which is like, will this problem matter 5 years from now? Is this situation that you're frustrated about in this moment going to be a big deal to you, like next week or 2 months from now? Like, if the answer is no, then don't let it like ruin your moment for too long because it's not going to matter. Now, I will say, like, one of my problems is like home related, and depending on the nature of what's going on, like it may impact me 5 years from now, in that it may just mean that like my family needs to consider this as a starter home and not a forever home, and we need to be looking for something a little bit more long term as far as like space and just the quality of the home. And I'm gonna just leave it at that. Hey, Kwana, how are you? Yes, we need to pray about it, and this too shall pass. I hope so, because it's not been my week. And then, I'm a girl. Y'all, most of y'all on here today, right now, are girls. Like, my cycle's on too, so that doesn't make anything better. My stomach has been hurting for 3 days. And at certain points of the day, I've been feeling like I can barely move. So, that on top of life, just life in this week, I'm overwhelmed and tired. I haven't taken melatonin since Sunday. When I woke up Monday, I had looked up, I feel like I had like a really crazy dream. And I just Googled it. I was like, melatonin side effects. And I was reading on a site and it said that it can cause nightmares. And I didn't know that. Like, I remember someone recommended it for me about 3 years ago when I was dealing with insomnia after my sister passed away. And I bought some from Walmart, and I even did a review on here about them. And they were the only thing that could help me sleep. And so eventually my sleep went back to normal without me having to depend on melatonin. Excuse me. But occasionally when I'm stressed out or I'm overwhelmed about something, I struggle with going to sleep. So I keep melatonin gummies in the house because since the pandemic, when I was just going through a really depressing time, it was helping me sleep. But honestly, I don't remember having nightmares back then when I was taking it. I just remember it helping me sleep. Now, like specifically this year, maybe the last like 3 months, I've taken it here and there, maybe like twice a week, something like that. And I promise you, I've been having weird dreams. It was before I even told y'all about it when I was saying I was having dreams about being pregnant. I mean, like weird dreams about being kidnapped, like just all kinds of just crazy dreams that, you have a really crazy dream, you wake up with a bad attitude, like those type of dreams that are disruptive. So like yesterday, I didn't have the best day. So, um, well, Monday I didn't have the best day. So I slept. I took melatonin actually. It wasn't Sunday, it was Monday. I took some melatonin and I had bad dreams. And then Tuesday was when I looked it up and I put that post on there about um melatonin causing nightmares. And last night, because of like y'all were giving me suggestions about different teas to take and spraying lavender on the sheets and doing all these different things. So I didn't get a chance to try any of those. The only thing I did do is I didn't take melatonin, but I was so tired because I'm just mentally overwhelmed. And I just, like I said, stuff keeps happening like back to back to back, and it's becoming a lot. So I just was tired. And I feel the same way today. Like you could probably see it in my body language and just looking like in my eyes. I'm tired. Um, my cycle is draining me, but then just the stuff that I've been trying to manage today has just been very draining as well. On top of just being, working today and then cooking dinner, helping Josiah with his homework, trying to figure out what I'm gonna do about these problems in my house. And that's stressful. Like people, I'm pretty sure people do talk about this, but being a homeowner is stressful at times because when things don't go right in the house and you got to figure out how to fix stuff, it's on you. Well, I've never really lived in an apartment except for when I lived in college and I kind of had like a dorm room. But like one thing that I remembered from that period in my life is that when stuff broke, you could call somebody and it was their job to fix it. But when you live in your house, like it's your responsibility to fix all your own repairs. And so, like I told you guys, I had a claim filed for someone to come and look at some appliances that have been kind of giving us problems, and they just stood us up on the appointment and never showed up. And so that was frustrating on top of something else that unexpectedly happened that is just like, not again. And when I get off live, I'm gonna link the video to my first home claim where it was such an inconvenience. We had like the worst of the worst, and that will just be a hint of what's going on that could be potentially happening again. And while it's just like I really don't want to go through this again. And I will say one more thing before I review the comments. I don't know what's going on, but I've been feeling like lately God has been putting me in situations that are testing me. And I feel like the situations I've been placed in are like repetitions of things I've already went through, almost as if God is trying to see how I navigate it differently. So, for example, last week it was, hey, you're returning to the office at the beginning of the year. Not only are you returning to the office at the beginning of the year, but you're also returning to the office at the beginning of the year in a department that you once were in, and life had its way of bringing you back full circle. You're in the department again. Is God giving me those cards because He's giving me an opportunity to redo this situation? Then these home issues, I'm just going to say it's something I've already experienced. It's happening again. It's frustrating because it's already happened to me before, but it's happening again. So I'm like, is it happening again because God is trying to give us an opportunity to use what we learned from the first time to make us navigate this better? I don't know, but I feel like I need a break. And with that, let me read what y'all were saying because I was just talking and I didn't read any comments. I'm going through some dating woes, looking for a new home and on my cycle as well. Isn't that the worst, Rachel? Like when you're on your cycle and then life wants to life on top of you having to deal with cramps. I'm like, I'm just not in the mental capacity for this. I don't have the patience. Maybe pray before bed and talk to God. Maybe God is trying to talk to you and you're not listening. Maybe so, Kwana. I definitely will be praying before I go to sleep. I'm sorry, Rachel. Hopefully your person finds you. Don't worry, you're a great catch and you'll get the perfect home for you in a matter of time. I agree with Lissa, Rachel. Let's see. Lissa T. I hope something happens to me when I can't sleep. So I just pray and listen because maybe these are some things that are important. Another thing I'm gonna start doing is trying to write in my journal. Like I was talking to y'all on Sunday about how I streamed a church service and the pastor was talking about prioritization. I will say that I have been like writing in my journal. I have a work journal. Like what are my top 3 focuses of the day? And then going back and writing, well, what did you actually get done? And I'm trying to make that as a practice. I also started getting up earlier and starting my day earlier. Certain days this week, I got up and I cooked breakfast. Other days this week, I just made sure I got up and I started my day a little bit earlier so I could have more time. I'm trying to get used to slowly but surely getting up earlier each day and writing down and thinking through my priorities so that I can navigate the day better. And I will say work has been less stressful this week. It's just personally, I feel like it's been a lot going on. Home things and then just family stuff. It's a lot. And I'm just kind of like tired. Thanks, Lissa. I don't know. I feel like it must be because why would this timing occur? Like, it's almost like I'm getting the repeats of things that occurred in 2020, 3 years later. And it's like, okay, what is significant about this specific thing? The other thing I'm thinking is like with the home stuff, I have been thinking about moving. And I'm wondering if it's like if we're gonna continue to have things going on, if it might be the best situation or the best option to consider preparing to move. And that might not mean we move like, in the next 30 days or the next 60 days, because um we own the home, so that's a process of putting it on the market, finding somebody to buy it as is, getting it, going through all that. Where are we going to go while we look for another house? Like, that's a lot. But it's just a mindset of like, okay, maybe instead of moving being on the 10-year roadmap, we need to think about how we can put it on the 2 to 3 year roadmap. um or it might just be like taking the time to really do some research and figure out if the repairs can be done and it could be something simple. Hey, Queen, how are you? Sometimes God puts us in situations that we haven't learned from before, and He gives us our blessings. And if you don't listen, He makes you slow down to listen. I know that for a fact. I've definitely experienced it. Um, I mean, I can't really think of a lot of examples that pertain to like home ownership, but I can say in relationships, there were definitely times where God sent me signs. Woo, y'all, I'm sorry. I'm genuinely tired. No melatonin. Like I just this day wore me out. Um God sent me signs and I just ignored the red flags. I did what I wanted to do because I wanted to do it and it felt right to me, even though all the signs were showing that this was not the right situation, and things got worse. And so then it was like, okay, let's put you through this again. Let's see if you get it this time. Nope, hard headed, didn't learn anything. So, I had to keep on learning from those mistakes. Um, Queen, we are talking about how our week is going, and mine is going pretty bad right now. So, really just checking in with everybody and just we were just talking about our feelings and, what's been going on. I can use all the encouraging words, y'all. Yes, God is always working on something in the background. For sure, Rachel. I definitely believe that. I do. And I'm trying to like continue to have gratitude. Like on Monday when I was extremely frustrated and angry, I had to like calm down. I sat in my car for an hour and I said, you know what? Even though I'm frustrated, even though the situation that I am upset about, I am valid for feeling the way I feel, my good outweighs my bad today. So it will get better. And I remember just praying in my car before I went in the house, like, you know what? Your good outweighs the bad. And I'm grateful for this. And I'm grateful for that. And I just started listing and it helped me feel better because sometimes when you are super frustrated, it is easy to think about everything that didn't go right. Today, I promise y'all, I can name 5 things that didn't go right, but I don't want to stay in that place. But I will not sit here and say it's not like haven't been a hard day or a hard week. It's been a hard couple of weeks, honestly. Um, like I said, every time I turn the corner, it's been feeling like it's something else. I've told y'all some of what's going on, but some of the other stuff I'm still trying to figure out and navigate before I just share because I don't know what I'm gonna do. But I'm sure I'll figure it out. I just like being a homeowner is stressful at times. Hey Jazzy, how you doing? And hey Mo, how are you? Unfortunately, we are not in control, but we trust in someone that he never leads us in the wrong direction, even when it feels horrible. Yes, that's a great way to think of it, Queen. And it's a good thing to remember. I honestly feel like sometimes when we start feeling like it is us and it's not him, God allows things to happen to us to humble us and keep us reminded that he's the one driving this thing. Sometimes as people, we get a little self centered and we start thinking that we are the bee's knees, especially when things are going good. And you forget, like, it needs to be God. And that's another thing that the message I listened to on Sunday was about. It was called The Power of Prioritizing. And I think I did share that on my community tab. But he also was talking about how our generation and like the younger people as well are very self-centered. We're a self-centered generation. We're always on our phones when we go into see scenes or like restaurants with our friends and families. We're on our phones, and I know I'm very guilty of it because I'm a content creator. So there's a lot of times when I'm in the middle of experiencing something and I'm capturing it with my phone or with my camera, and we get so engulfed in taking the picture that we're not present. You get so engulfed in what you're seeing online on social media that you're not even taking the opportunity to engage with people for real, and make meaningful connections with folks in person when you have those opportunities. And I will say this, it makes it hard for you to socialize in unfamiliar settings because we're so used to communicating online through the internet that when it's time to have those face-to-face conversations, we lack soft skills and social skills because we're used to being on our devices. Like, I'm not saying technology is a bad thing. I think technology is a great thing, but we seem to have lost sight of the value of having like in-person connections with people. Some people cannot function without their Wi-Fi. Some people cannot function without their phone. And it really shouldn't be that way. Like, if you're in a group of good company, you should be able to engage with the people you're with, and it not be like after 20 minutes you ready to like jump out the window because you can't handle just talking to people and having traditional dialogue. You're talking about what you want out loud, and God is giving you what you want in your face. And even if it has to crash before your eyes, it's Him telling you that your bigger blessings are on the way. Thank you, Quana. See, you're encouraging me. I swear I wasn't smiling when I got on here. I had took the first picture, and that picture looked messed up. I'm like, these people gonna be like, what's wrong with her? Don't scare me. I've been going home shopping for this week. Home shopping is a beautiful thing, but just do your research. I I will do more research. I am considering selling my house. I'm just going to be honest and tell you guys. But I don't know if that's the right decision for me. But I'm considering it. And if we do decide to go with it, I would prefer to buy a newer home, and I would love to do research around the builder next time because I've been having issues with things in this house, and it's frustrating because, like, on the outside, it looked good. When we bought the house, I got an inspection, and the inspection told us certain things, but it didn't tell me everything. And you're really not going to know everything until you move into a house. But I will say, I live in Atlanta. Well, I don't live in Atlanta. I live in Georgia, in the metro Atlanta area. And the way that there is so much construction going around in this state, they are slapping up homes with a quickness. It's a little scary how fast they cut down trees and how quickly they build homes up. And it's like something is being rushed in the process. And I feel like sometimes these communities are being built and they're being thrown up to accommodate this growing state, but they're not taking the time to make sure things are done correctly. So you may end up with issues in your house years later, even with a new build. This is not a new build. This house was built in 2002. We bought the house in 2018. I've been here for 5 years. Um, and when I bought the house, I even said this may not be our forever home. It's a 3-bedroom house. It's 3 of us. We have extra room. As soon as we have another child, it'll be more of us than more room. So I already knew it may not be my forever home. But what I'm frustrated with is I've had issues with things where I've had to file a home claim, and it appears that the same issue is occurring again. And that's stressful to me because it puts me in a situation where I either have to file another home claim or I have to find a contractor that's not going to try to take advantage of me to fix the issue, and I'm going to have to come out of pocket. Or I may be able to, work something out with the people who helped the first time. But I have trust issues with the person who helped the first time because they're the ones who fixed it the first time, and then here it is broken again. So it's just kind of like, what am I going to do? And then you also have to be careful with filing claims because it's like car insurance, right? Home insurance is like car insurance. If you get into several accidents, guess what? Your car insurance carrier is going to drop you because they're saying you're a liability and you're filing too many claims. I've only filed one claim in the 5 years that I've been here, but they don't really want people filing more than 2 to 3 claims in every 3 to 5 years. So I'm trying not to go that route, but depending on how bad this issue is, I may have to go that route because, it's better for me as the consumer to pay a deductible of a couple $1,000s to have $30,000 worth of damage fixed. And I'm not saying it's 30,000, I don't know, but it was last time. It was very expensive to get this stuff fixed for it to be popping up again. So that's why I'm stressed out, y'all. It's not a little thing. And it was a bunch of other little things going on, but then this happened too. So it's just like, oh my gosh. So all I can say is don't rush your buying a house process. If you're looking for a home, like take your time, do your research, do your research about the builders, get an inspection done, and don't feel like you have to rush because you're ready to get out of your situation. I had said it before this had even happened, but I had thought about like, family. And I don't know if I want to move in with my in-law now because they have a dog and I'm kind of afraid of dogs. And Josiah, I think, is allergic to pet fur because, like my mother-in-law, brother-in-law, and his girlfriend, they live together, and they got a dog. It's my brother-in-law's girlfriend's dog, and him and my brother-in-law she and the brother-in-law, they take care of it together, but they all live with my mother-in-law. And at one point, we were talking about like, hypothetically, if we did sell our house, we could possibly move in with her temporarily to look for another house. I even thought about like, okay, what if I went back home again? But there's really no space for that. So it's like the other option could be like my dad is a realtor, and then I have a soror that's a realtor that helped us find this home. You could always work with a realtor to have them help you sell your house while you look for a house, so you can kind of do both simultaneously, so you're not without a place to stay, if that makes sense. Like if an investor wants this house, I could sell my home with the equity that's in it and then go ahead and look for another home and finance the next one, using the equity that I earned from this one and then move. That's an option. So I've been thinking about that because it's like I know investors, they will flip a house. My house has gained over $100,000 in equity since we've been here for the 5 years. So even with me using Georgia Dream, which was like a down payment grant that gave us 15K, let's say I've made over 100K, even with paying that 15K back, we'd walk out of the house with over $100,000 more than what it costs, right? So then I can look for something better, something newer, something that is a little bit bigger as well, that could then be the forever home. So that's where my mind is, on top of navigating like work changes and just life. But I don't know. Is this the season for that? I'm not sure. I know someone who bought a house, got an inspection before buying. An AC unit was a shot a month after she moved in. I would have been so frustrated. Oh my gosh. Funny, not funny, but interesting story. Our heating unit is fine. It's not like knock on wood, but like out of 5 years, I want to say at least 3 of the years, our heating thing stopped working in the wintertime 3 times. That's not what's going on now. And if that were to happen, that's not as big of a deal because we also have home insurance. And my home insurance, or not home insurance, home warranty is a really great resource. I recommend that you get it whenever you get a house. You always have to get home insurance. That's like everybody has to get that. It's a non-negotiable. You pay it with your mortgage. But then home warranty, you want to get that too. And if possible, when you buy your house, get the seller to pay for your first year of home warranty. But and that's what I did. And we've had the same home warranty company. It's American Home Shield since we moved in. And I've had to use it every year for something. And it's just great because it covers like your AC unit, it covers the heating unit. So like I told you guys, my heating unit has went out a few times. Usually it's like a simple little part. They come and fix it. And I pay $100 for all the repairs. The appliance people who stood me up, they don't necessarily work directly for American Home Shield, but American Home Shield has a subset of contractors that do different things. And when you have an issue with a covered item, whether it be your faucet, your tub, your garage door opener, your washer, I said washer, your microwave, your stove, like all these different things in the house are covered. You call, you file a claim, you pay $100, they fix it. Our ceiling fan stopped working in the spring. I need to get that fixed. If I wanted to, I could call, pay $100, they'll come and fix it. So that type of stuff is very helpful as a homeowner. But it's just like if something really, really bad happens, like you have a flooding in your house or a pipe burst and there's significant damage. Like y'all saw my Christmas vlog from last year. If not, I'll try to remember to link it. Like our pipes bursted on Christmas Eve last year because it was freezing temperatures and we forgot to drip our faucet. And so luckily it only flooded out our garage, and I just was able to pay out of pocket and get that fixed. And it was very simple. We didn't require a home claim, but if that would have been, let's say, the pipe in our kitchen and it would have flooded out our whole living room, then that would have been like a home claim. So that's what I'm saying. Like, the first thing that I experienced was like a really big bad thing. Like, it's on my channel. So I would just say go look on my video and look on my channel and look for my first home claim, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It was awful. And so I just get anxiety thinking about like having to go through that again. I don't want to do it again. You're helping me a lot. Oh, any questions you have, feel free to ask me. I used to do videos about like buying a home, what advice I recommend. I would say do a first time home buyer class. I was getting a grant to give me down payment assistance at the time, and it was a requirement, but it is definitely something I recommend for anybody because it'll talk about all the current practices and all the different things that can, help save you. It talks to you about insurance and inspections and what to look for in your house, things to do before you not require, I'm sorry, you request a loan. It was really, really helpful for me. I became a homeowner at 24 years old. So I was young, I didn't know what I was doing. And I will say, like, if I were to go through that process again, I would definitely take everything that I learned plus everything that I experienced in these last 5 years into consideration. But I say that to say I'm willing to be uncomfortable temporarily to plan for the future. I just want to make sure it's the right decision, because the other thing is when you decide you want to look for a home, you have to keep your money still during that process. Once they run your credit, and so you can go through getting pre-qualified for an amount and all that good stuff, you have to sit your money still for a minute. You have to leave your savings alone. You can't be running up stuff on your credit cards. Like, you have to be ready. And so like that's a big commitment. So that would mean like if you're deciding to look for a house, travel is on hold that year. You have to be mindful of your debt to income ratios. So like for me, I had got a Nissan Versa Note after we bought the house because I was done. And you don't want to try to finance a car and finance a house at the same time because that's too much debt and it may impact the way that you're able to get a loan for a house. So after I closed on the house, I decided to get a new car. because mine was giving me too many problems. And now my car is paid off. I paid it off earlier this year. So I say that to say, like, it possibly could be a good time for me to think about getting pre-qualified again. Since 5 years from now, I've had 2 promotions. My husband has a stable sense of income, and him and I are both working together. We probably could qualify for a bigger, better house than what we were able to the first time. Whereas the first time around, like, I kind of did it under myself, and I wasn't making what I make now. Um, I didn't really have much credit either, because at that time, all I had was my one credit card. So the amount they offered me was really low, and it made it hard because I was trying to find a house in Cobb. I kind of talked about this last Wednesday. I was trying to find a house in Cobb, and everything was so expensive. They were building the Brave Stadium at the time, and I just couldn't afford to move out there. I initially had one realtor, and we just weren't seeing eye to eye as far as trying to find places, aside from one really nice house she found, but it was just a school district. It wasn't the right school district, and I didn't feel like that area was good for us long term. So I ended up switching realtors. Somehow I was able to get a reassessment on what I qualified for, and it extended the amount by like $25,000. And that gave me some more wiggle room, and that helped me to find the home that I'm in now. But the other thing that I know that is different now than it was back then, my dad got his license reinstated, so I know I could like rely on him to help if I needed to. But things cost more. Like back then, you could get a condo for under $100,000. Maybe even, I would say, from at one point my husband had found a condo in Jonesboro, Georgia for $40,000. We didn't get it, but it was $40,000. Now, in certain areas, like the starting rate is $280,000. In most areas, the starting rate is in the threes, and that's for maybe an equivalent of what we have now. If you want something a little bigger, I was looking because yesterday when I was like, I'm sick of it. We finna move. Like I started looking. Like a 4-bedroom house with a bonus room and stuff like that. You're looking at the mid threes. When I bought this house, it was in the low ones. So it's just different. It's much different than what it was. Not to mention that interest rates are up right now. My interest rate on my house is 4.375%, I think. And my dad told me today that interest rates are starting in the sevens. That's nearly double what I pay. And if you've ever financed anything, let's say an iPhone or um, a, a car, you understand that depending on what your interest rate is, you are going to pay that much more for that car. When I bought my car off the lot, it was $9,999. When I paid off my loan in full, that loan said that I paid 13,400 some dollars, which means that I paid over $4,000 to Nissan in interest. So, like, getting a fair interest rate is also important. And I feel like I got screwed when I bought my last car, which is why I was like, I don't know if I'll ever buy another car off a lot again, because I have good credit. Well, no reason for me to have that sucky interest rate. My interest rate with my car was like 7% or something like that. And I just feel like I got gypped, but I digress. Would you recommend going under the Georgia Dream program? At the time when I did it, Lisa, absolutely. I'm not as familiar with how it works now. I actually did look at it today, and the grants are different. Back in 2018, when I financed my home, they had 3 grants. The standard grant was $5,000. They had one for not for teachers, I'm sorry. I think it was teachers. They had one for teachers and military, like service providers, and that one was $7,500. And then they had something called hard hit, which was 15,000, and that's the one I did. And that is the one that included like 10 counties that had more foreclosures. When I went and looked, I actually looked at this information earlier today because I was curious. I would love to use it again. It's different now. They now have 3 grants. They have their standard grant of 7,500. They have another grant of 7,500 that's specific to protectors. Think like your first responders, like firefighters, police officers, things of that nature. And then teachers are included in that. And then they also have a disabled grant of 7,500. So basically, if you or someone in your home has a disability, you can qualify for a grant of $7,500. And then they have different requirements in order for you to be able to qualify for the grant. I really like the program, but it's not the same. Like they changed the tiers of what they give money out for. But I would say do your research. If not Georgia Dream, there are other FHA loans or grants out there that are looking to bless first time home buyers. So, any type of free money you can get, I always recommend it. Any type of negotiation you can ask the seller to do for you at closing, I would recommend doing it. I don't recommend being like a fixer upper on your first time. I wasn't interested in doing that. Like I was really trying to find that move in ready starter home, and I feel like this was, it was. We didn't have to do no renovations or anything like that. We've had to repair a few things, but not like as soon as we moved in. Georgia is becoming expensive now. Absolutely. I agree with you, Quana. It is. I feel like I am in a comfortable state financially because I was able to buy my house when I did back in 2018. If I would have been trying to do this now, I'm not really sure. And that's what I said. That's why I'm saying what I told you guys about. Like, I want to move because I'm frustrated, but financially, is that the right decision? Because excuse me, you can use realtor.com or Trulia or Georgia MLS. Go on all the little home websites, look at the zip code, the state, or wherever you want to be. And you can do those little mortgage estimators, but they're not exact. The numbers that I saw for the homes, even the home I have now, you might want to add like a $150 to $200 to the amount that you see the mortgage is going to be, because there's going to be other factors. Interest is a factor. Your insurance is a factor. And another thing that I want to throw out there is that property taxes are a factor. And so if your county decides to raise the property taxes for the county, that can affect the cost of your mortgage. So even if you're fixed in your interest rate, I'm fixed because I did FHA loan, and with Georgia Dream at the time, the interest rate was only 4.375%. So I'm very grateful for that because some people's interest rates are higher. Um, the property taxes have went up in the last 5 years. So we have something called escrow. Like when you pay your mortgage, you have the principal, the interest, and the escrow. I forgot how to explain all of that. Y'all could probably find a better video to explain, but escrow, I want to say, relates to those property taxes in some way. And if for some reason it goes up for something out of your control, you have to kind of like pay on that balance. And if you don't, it will cause your mortgage to go up the next year. So while my mortgage has fluctuated around the same amount, it has kind of went up in little batches. At one point, it went up, and then I paid extra into my escrow, and it made it go back down. But then the property taxes went back up this year, so now it's like rising. So I say that to say it's better than living in an apartment where they can literally decide to raise your rent every 6 months and you have no choice but to move if you want to break your lease after a year. But it's like, it's gonna be pros and cons no matter where you go. Yes, the prices are 100K plus more in my area. That's why I had to rent through Invitation Homes, and even they are going up. What's Invitation Homes, Lissa? I'm gonna have to see if we have something like that here. Absolutely. Please do look for those grants. Do your research. Start with like your state government and see if they have anything like I don't remember exactly where you are, Queen. I'm sorry if you've already told me that, but like you could just type in like Georgia housing programs, for example. But instead of Georgia, swap it out with the state you're in or the state you're interested in. And just look on like, TikTok wasn't really like buzzing like it is now. So I didn't really use TikTok, but I looked on YouTube, and my dad honestly was the first person who told me about Georgia Dream. He was like, "You really should look into this program." And so I took him up on it. Hey Brandy, I've always been the type of person that wanted to know how I could get resources to help me pay for things. Like, I don't know if all of y'all remember this about me or know this, but I went to college and got my bachelor's degree with scholarships because my dad told me when I was young, like, about a kid in his class that went to school for free with scholarships. And when my mom passed away, we didn't have a lot of money. So I was in 11th grade. I spent my 11th grade and 12th grade year applying for scholarships, and it paid for me to go to school. Only my first year did I need extra money from family, and my dad's mom, my grandma, gave me some money, and my mom's brother, my uncle that also married us, gave me some money as well. After that first year, I didn't need money from anybody, and school paid me. So with buying a house, like, I had saved money from the time I was in college through the time that I graduated. I did get hit by a car in my freshman year. So I did like sue the person, and I ended up settling out without going through courts, and I ended up getting some thousands of dollars back then, and I saved that money, and then the school money from the refunds paid me, so I saved that money. And so even though I was like dating my child's father and making stupid decisions and, paying for my friends to do stuff, and, some friends I'm not even friends with now, but I was still pretty tight with my money, and I saved it. And so, like, when I got done with school, I was able to live with my dad for a few more years. We moved out when Saya was like 2.5, going on 3, I think. But I always knew like I wanted to buy a house. So that was one thing that I will say helped me out. Even though, like I said, I did not have a lot of money. Like, I've always been very resourceful. And God is, I guess, I won't say I guess, God has always kind of helped guide me in that sense. But to answer your question, Quana, yeah, I really would. My dad is focused in selling lots. And I even asked him, like, what is the process for me to buy land and build a house on the land? I actually would love to do that. But I don't know, like, if I sold my house and I wanted to keep the money, could I find a lot somewhere for $40,000, $50,000, and then use 150,000, maybe get a loan for 50,000 more to build my own dream house? Can I do that? Or am I under budgeting what it would take to build the house? Because I absolutely love the idea of building my house and it being exactly what I need, and being able to, like, do research and find a trusty contractor that's going to take their time to do it the right way. That's so dope, Yosha. You basically were able to go to school for free. Yes, I did. And I don't have any loans from going to school, which is why I've hesitated to go get my master's, because I mean, I still save a lot now. Let me start there. Like, I could probably pay to get an online degree at my alma mater out of pocket. With my full-time job, they do tuition reimbursement. So I could get reimbursed for up to half of that. And one of the scholarships that I got, it was called the Horatio Alger Scholarship, and they do a grant for graduate studies. If I wanted to go get like a business degree, which I've considered getting an MBA or a master's in strategic leadership, that's the one I'm interested in, because it kind of it covers like human resources work, diversity, equity, and inclusion, which I'm passionate about. And it also is like management related, which is where I want to go. I work in communications. My bachelor's degree is in communications and media studies. I've always had a passion for talking, writing, and storytelling. But I say that to say, like, I don't want to be in debt behind a degree. It's because, like, I've gotten this far with my hard work, and I'm not putting it on me like God didn't bless me, but I'm saying my hard work has put me there without a master's degree. So, like, I know some people, they got their master's degree and they're struggling to still find a role. I already found my role without it. And it's not to say that like I couldn't lose my job and have trouble finding another role, but I say that to say like a lot of these companies if you can get an entry level role and work your way up, they're going to think of that experience, as being just as valuable as that master's degree. That student who has the master's degree but no experience struggles to get a job that pays well, because sometimes the companies are looking for people who have the experience. And it's not fair, because that's not what we were told. Go get the degree. You need a degree. Get your degree. Get your degree. That's going to help you with everything you need. And then these college students, we get out of school and then we struggle to get a job that pays well. They want to pay you $15 an hour, but you got a bachelor's degree or an associate's degree. Like, that's not fair to me. I'm sorry. What? $15? Like, no. If the people at Chick-fil-A and McDonald's can make $15 or $17 an hour, then somebody who has degrees should be making more. I'm so sorry. Like, I just feel like it's not fair. Anyway, let me keep reading. I'm so lost. I mean, not lost. I'm so behind on y'all messages. In Florida, we have a program for healthcare workers. Oh, that's good. That's good. I like that they look out for healthcare workers. And I could be wrong, but the protectors, I think, might have included nurses, doctors, not doctors, I'm sorry. I think it included military, nurses, um, and firefighters. Like, people who protect other people were included in that grant option. It's like the protectors grant. Like, let me see if I can find it. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Georgia Dream. And the other stipulations is like, you can't have been a homeowner in the last 3 years. They used to have an exception clause, which is the one around if you pick a hard hit county. Like, Gwinnett was on the hard hit county list. Douglas, Clayton, Fulton, um, DeKalb. Like, they weren't all bad areas. And I'm telling y'all, they're not all bad areas. I picked one of them, so they're not all bad areas either. And I'm sorry, I had it wrong. I had it wrong. It's $10,000 for all eligible home buyers can qualify. 12,500 for protectors, which is protectors, educators, and nurses. If you are a public protector, an educator, or a healthcare provider, or work in those industries, you could get one. Or if you're an active military personnel, or choice, which is if you have a person in your home that has a disability, you could qualify for $12,500. This is the site if you're interested in that. I'm gonna try to remember. Matter of fact, if I can I edit it without it ending my live? Hold on, I'm gonna do it in a different tab. I'm gonna put it in the description box because I don't want to forget to do it. I need to go to click on this. But yeah, definitely look in your state and see if they have something like that. I would recommend it. And my dad was telling me that if you stay for 5 years or something like that, you may not be responsible for paying back the money. I don't know how true or accurate that is, but we've been here for 5 years. So if it is true, I don't feel bad if I move. Chime was only a credit builder account, but I kind of still want my money. I use Kickoff for building now. I heard that too for the dream. Although, yeah, so I've been here for 5 years, and that's the other thing he was saying. Like, when they were like, stick it out for 5 or 6 years, and then you can move, and you don't have to worry about paying the money back, and then you could keep your equity. And my dad was encouraging me earlier though. He was like, if you really want to move, like, you have equity in your house, so even if you do have to pay back that $15,000, it's not like that's gonna eat up all the equity that you've gained. So I don't know. I've been thinking about it. I just need to pray on it because I don't want to make a hasty decision off of a temporary problem. But I've shared enough for y'all to kind of get what's going on without without explaining everything. I'll just say, like, I don't want to keep dealing with serious home repair issues. Simple repairs, that's a granted, right? You're gonna have to do that. But if I went through the process of like getting something different, I would definitely either A, want to build it, or B, get something that's newer that doesn't have any problems. And it would be nice to get a new construction because you can literally watch as it gets built and you'll be the first family in it. Three times those rent prices be crazy. Absolutely. And I don't feel like it's realistic or fair. I just don't. Oh, let me talk about something that went good. Okay, so I do resumes for people. That wig mannequin back there is looking like a whole little head floating. Sorry, y'all. But I do resumes for people and I charge. And I used to do them for people and like I didn't charge. I was just doing it because I'm good at it or whatever. And a person I used to work with a while back, she remembered that I did resumes and she reached out asking if I could do a resume. And I told her, I could do it. And I told her the price. And she actually sent it to me that day and was like, can you please do it for me today? And I did a resume for her. And it made me feel like encouraged because, like, I have been talking about like how I want to start promoting my services and like get my stuff going. And I don't know, like I just been kind of like not taking the strides to do that. So that was like a highlight to be reminded like you can offer those services. Oh, y'all, I'm sorry. I graduate soon and have to move from my income based apartment to a normal apartment, and places want you to make three times the rent and have amazing credit. I use Chime, but not for my main account. I use Self to help build my credit. So far, so good. I think I built my credit using my bank account. At the time, it was SunTrust, but I used their credit card at the time. And then it started with like a $250 limit, and then over time it increased and increased as I showed that I could be trusted. And then I also feel like financing my car helped build my credit as well, but that kind of came after getting the house. I really only had one credit card. Whew. Do they have housing vouchers in your area? Yes, we have housing vouchers. I'm surely looking into them and applying, especially as a single mom. This economy feels impossible to survive in. That makes me feel so sad to hear. And I feel like they be wanting us to struggle in order to get benefits. And I don't like that. Like they be wanting you to make no money for them to offer you help with housing, help with food, help with childcare. And if you start making too much, you lose the help. And then things just get super expensive out of pocket. It's really frustrating. Not to mention that they don't consider being a student a job a lot of the times. So it's like I remember being a student and being pregnant and trying to get help. And the only reason why I got it was because I think my age. I got pregnant when I was 21. So I don't know. I also was jobless though. So they helped me because I was jobless. Not really because I was a student. Because being a student, they could care less. It was because I was a pregnant student. They're like, oh, you qualify for this and that. But it was really hard. It was really hard. I'm just glad, like God looked out for me. I was able to get benefits. Of course, once Josiah was born, they kicked me off the benefits, but it's definitely difficult. I don't know. Ooh, ooh, y'all. But I'm definitely gonna do some research. I guess if I'm thinking of like moving and stuff, this is not the time to be thinking about a career shift. It is a time to be thinking about offering my services and being more consistent with YouTube and building up income online as an additional source of income. But you know, I don't know about transitioning or changing stability in the income if we may be considering moving. And if not moving, just saving up to do these repairs and do them the right way. In NYC, they make you go through a shelter and they give you housing voucher if you can get a job and show that you can work, so they can pay some or all of your rent. We have some programs like that here in Atlanta that I heard of as well. Some shelters that help place you and your kids, and you can work and they'll help you. I've heard of that. And I actually know of someone that I used to be friends with. Excuse me. We're not friends, but like she moved away and she lives kind of far away. But we used to work together. We actually went to college together. We ended up working together for a while after college, and she moved, but she went through something like that and it really, really helped her. And now like she's doing great. Her and her kids, they're doing good. She ended up buying a townhouse, getting a job as a teacher, and she either has her master's now or she is currently studying for her master's, but she ended up finishing school. And like I said, she ended up thriving after that shelter program. But she did it, and I think after she did the shelter program, they helped her in an apartment for a period of time as well. There are certain resources out there. It's just they're not as easy to come by. That's what I'll say. Whew, excuse me. I was threatened to lose my housing voucher because I made $80 over the income limit. My son gets approximately 800 with disability, and I get 32 a month for child support, and I'm expected to just survive off that. That is so frustrating. So then you have to live under the table with income in order to actually make your ends meet and be comfortable, because like you don't want to struggle just to get the help, you know? I get it. I was threatened to lose it when I was working, so I had to quit my job and depend on my son's disability and child support. That's so frustrating and depressing because it makes you feel like you're stuck. Wow, Brandy, I hate you have to go through that. That's definitely not enough to survive. It's really not. But that's how I used to feel. Like I remember when I got kicked off of insurance, that was, and I miss getting Medicaid and Peach Care for Kids and all that good stuff. Why do I say that? Because one thing I loved about it was that I never had to pay copays. I never had to pay for anything. If I needed to get dental work done, you can get dental work done. I didn't know it at the time, but you know how people get like bariatric surgeries done and things like that for their health. It's free. When you work and you have to pay for insurance, you have to pay copays, you have to meet deductibles, you pay for stuff and it comes out your paycheck every time you get paid, but then you still got to pay for stuff that you need done. And it's like it was easier to do it when you didn't have. Hold on. Ooh, there needs to be more resources for sure. Yes. Yes, the system is so messed up. So sorry, Brandy. Do they have subsidized housing in your area where rent is controlled and can't go up or down? Would you relocate? I think the relocation question is for Brandy. Yes, Brandy. It is definitely going to be up. I'm going to put some hearts in the comments for you. Y'all do y'all hearts for Brandy. Yeah, you're going into a great field, so that's gonna make it better. It really will. Whew. Not to mention when you have medical experience, you can move anywhere with it. Like people who do like traveling nurses and stuff like that. I hear they make more money. Anytime, Brandy. What cities or what states are you interested in considering moving to? Georgia used to be where everybody would go, but it, like Quana said, it's not cheap here anymore. It used to be about 10 years ago. I feel like stuff started driving up real bad during the pandemic. It was getting high before then. Like let me preface it with that. I did a video called "Should You Move to Georgia" or something like that, and it has a pretty good viewership on it. And a lot of folks liked it. They were like, "Girl, you was being real in that video," but I've been here all my life, so like a lot of folks do those videos. They might have moved from up north or whatever, and they'd be like, "I hate Georgia. It sucks here." Blah blah blah. But I remember when I did those videos, I was saying like rent was $1,200, and I'm like, yeah, those are outdated prices. I can't even really speak to it. I probably would need to get one of my best friends or somebody who rents currently to tell you what rent is. If you move in the hood, like one of my sisters, stepsister, lives closer to the hood. I'm not trying to be funny. Like she lives near the West End. If you know, you know. That's in the damn hood. I'm not trying to be funny. Like if you live here, you know it's the hood. It's a little bit cheaper, but then you have to worry about like safety and stuff like that. If you want a nicer area like Sandy Springs or anything that's near like the touristy parts of Atlanta, you're gonna be paying closer to $2,000 for your rent. That's expensive to me. At this point, you're paying them up north prices. Back in the day, and I say day like like I'm old, but like 10 years ago, you used to be able to get a really nice apartment for under like $1,000. And now like $1,000 is probably hard to come by for less. So it's just I don't know. I don't feel like anything is cheap anymore. Graduating is just around the corner. It's something to look forward to. Absolutely. And I'm not saying don't come to Georgia because I still feel like Georgia is cheaper than some other states up north. It's definitely cheaper than moving to California. It's definitely cheaper than moving to like New York, from what I hear. But it's just not cheap like it used to be super cheap and everybody used to talk about it. I also heard that moving to somewhere like Dallas or, Texas, like not necessarily like Houston, but like Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, San Antonio, like look at those cities as well. Augusta, Georgia is cheap. Yep, that's where my husband's aunt lives. It sure is. That was one of the counties that was on the Georgia Dream list back in when I was like using the grant that I chose. I forgot what county Augusta is in, but that city was also very considered like one of the ones that you could get the hard hit for foreclosures, but their homes were much cheaper. It's just far away. Like Augusta is not metro Atlanta. You're gonna be in the middle of nowhere. Savannah, Georgia is also pretty cheap. But again, like it's middle of nowhere. That just reminded me I have to edit that vlog. I'm so behind on editing. Y'all wouldn't know because I have videos scheduled. So y'all gonna see videos, but I have like five. Oh gosh, I gotta spend my weekend editing because I've been trying to get it done after work and I just have not had the time. And I have like videos to edit and get up for you guys. I have 2 Jamaica videos to get out. I have the Savannah vlog and I have like 2 or 3 fitness updates to edit. I gotta get this together, y'all. I don't know. The fitness vlogs, I might keep doing them. I might stop them. I don't know. I don't. Y'all let me know. Y'all like the fitness vlogs? Y'all think I should keep it or I should stop? They might get replaced with a new series about like return to work or something like that in 2024. We'll see. Mm. And if I do this whole moving thing, I guess I can document that too. But I really don't want to. I hope that we figure something out. I might just do homeowners chronicles. That won't be the name of it, but just homeowner reality vlog. Like this is what's gonna happen. My brothers are always want to come here thinking they're gonna get $300. And I keep telling them we pay 16 to 1800 for a 3-bedroom for a townhouse apartment. That is so expensive, Quana. Oh my gosh, it's went up so much. When I'm looking at different states, I'm looking at gross income for CMAs, school test scores, resources for single parents, etc. We do have a lot of resources here, Brandy. We do. I will say, like the home stuff I've been talking about, they be wanting you to have been a resident for a few years before you qualify. But as far as like benefits like food stamps, CAPS, which is like the child care benefit, where when you, especially you have a child with autism and you have small children, they will give you money to pay for your child care, your daycare fees, WIC, Peach Care for Kids, Medicaid, like if you don't have the income. If you do have more than the poverty level income, you could possibly qualify for Peach Care for Kids. I qualified for that for a little while, but then once I started making too much money, I got kicked off of that too. So I had to go through my employer to get insurance for my kids. They pay lower in Augusta too. I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked at all. I always tell myself when I move, I want to be at least back in Kentucky within 8 hours for family experience emergencies. That's a good thing to keep in mind. My friend is a CMA in Dallas. Oh, okay. She relocated from Orlando to Dallas because it's too pricey in Florida. She's doing good in Texas. Texas, I think, is a great relocation area. One of my best friends moved there and she is thriving. South Carolina is nice. I want to visit. I always mix up South Carolina and North Carolina. South Carolina, name a city that's in South Carolina. Is that like where Charlotte is? Or is that North Carolina? Or is it where Myrtle Beach is? I don't know. I like the fitness vlogs. It encourages me. Thanks, Lissa. Myrtle Beach is in South Carolina. Okay, okay. It went up from $900 rent. It sure did, Quana, because I remember when it was $900. Before I got pregnant, I was talking about moving in with two of my best friends. We was gonna get an apartment, and they was at $900 at that point. Sure did. And I looked up after I had Josiah, and them $900 became $1,100. Bought my house, and everybody was talking about it was $1,200, and that's when I did my video talking about it. And now it's $1,800, and some people are paying like $2,200. Like if you live in the Vinings area by the Braves Stadium, them apartments are like considered luxury, and they like $2,200, 2 and 3 bedrooms. Listen, I keep telling my friends, let's all pitch in and just get a big house on some land. It wouldn't be a bad idea. We were talking about it at one point, like, moving in together and like basically working together collectively. It's not a bad idea. It's just coming up with a way to ensure people have their privacy and stuff when needed so they don't get tired of being with each other. Because it sounds good until you get all them adults together and then y'all start getting on each other's nerves. But it would be a great come up. It would be a great come up. But yeah, I'm just going to pray about it and I'm going to try to do some more research because that's what I always do. And I'm going to also try to figure out how to start offering my little consulting services and whatnot. So I've been talking about it for forever. But in the meantime, if you need resume assistance, send me an email. I'm gonna start trying to remind folks. I'm thinking like, the new year is coming. If you're looking for a new job, you want to refresh your lifestyle, hit me up and I can do your resume. But y'all, I'm about to go and get some ice cream from my kitchen and get ready to go to bed. I really did enjoy talking to y'all. I was in such a sucky mood before I got on here. I am probably gonna go live tomorrow as well. So if y'all are free tomorrow night, make sure you have your notifications on so y'all can get the alert. I really did enjoy this conversation. It was so real. Like, I really do enjoy talking about stuff like this with y'all. Me too, Queen. Thank you. Living alone is considered a luxury now. It really is because it's expensive. Thank y'all for always listening and, being there. If you're catching the replay, thanks so much. I love y'all, and I hope that your weeks get better. I'm going to pray for all of us before I go to bed, and I will see y'all next time. Good night, y'all.